Good afternoon, it's time. It's time for yet another NFL Bucky's Mail Day. This is your host, Mike C. And of course, it's our show. As always, it's Bucky. Say hi, Bucky. Bucky says hi. Well, we had a wild card weekend and some very good games. Some were okay. The biggest surprise, I thought, and many other people thought, was the Washington Commanders beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, and they won on a last-second field goal. And it was actually a pretty good game, I thought. And with that victory, the Washington Commanders will travel to Detroit next Saturday at 8 o'clock our time to face the Detroit Lions. So that's exciting because, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, Bucky, what in the world do you have in front of you today? Well, it took a while, but I had to come up with a clever plot. And I thought, well, Washington, okay, I had a few things. And I thought, you know what? I have command hooks. So the two things that are showing on Bucky are command hooks. And I have a Washington, a dollar bill with Washington on the front. So you get the Washington Commanders. I was very clever, Bucky. Bucky likes that too. So that's what's in front of Bucky today. And one of the first things I thought of and actually said was, this is revenge for the 1991 game in the NFC playoffs championship, where they lost. They got beaten very badly to the then Redskins. I don't have the score down important. It turnovers. It was just a sloppy game. They were never in it, and that's the closest they've come to the Super Bowl. So this is revenge for that. A few years later, but if the Commanders had not beaten the Bucks, they would have played the winner of the Vikings Rams game, which is tonight. But the Bucks took care of that, so that's why I should say the Commanders took care of that. I'm sorry. So tonight we'll watch that game, the Vikings and the Rams game. We root for the Rams, of course, in Stafford. And Philly also won, so they're the number. They beat the Packers. Kind of a strange game. The Eagles kind of dominated the Packers for a long time. There should have been a lot higher scoring game. It wasn't. And the Packers got a huge run, almost a touchdown run. Got it close, but then the Eagles pulled away. So I'm not sure the standings. We'll tell you next week who the line if they win, and hopefully they'll beat the Commanders. And but all the games will have to go through Detroit. On the AFC side, similar games. We watched the Pittsburgh game. Wasn't very good. The Steelers were very flat. I remember even saying that they looked just flat and uninspired. And then within the next 5 minutes, the commentator said the Steelers looked flat. So they did not play well at all. They got it closer to the end, but I wasn't worried about that. But team I was most impressed with was the Buffalo Bills. They gave the first touchdown was by the Broncos. They went right down the field and scored. I thought, and then that's the only time they scored the rest of the game. They just shut them out. So I'm thinking it might be the Chiefs and the Bills, but we'll see. They got other teams to play. The Ravens are still a very good team also. There's three teams that concern me. One is the Ravens. One is Buffalo. Actually, four teams. The Chiefs, obviously, you can never count them out. And the NFC, the Eagles. They did not play that well, but they played well enough. But that's in the future. We'll have to wait till next week, and we'll get a better picture of what's going on. My notes. What do I got, Bucky? Oh, on January 20th, college football championship game. Notre Dame plays the Ohio State, and I'm rooting for Ohio State because I do not like Notre Dame, whatever you want to call them. The Fighting Irish. Ohio State's not my favorite team, but I respect them very much, and I actually like, the coach. They were number one for a lot of weeks, and then they lost, and the sky is falling, blah blah blah. But now they're back in the hunt. So we're gonna root for the Ohio State. I don't have too much else to go on. Oh, not breaking news that broke earlier this afternoon. Mike McCarthy was let go of the Cowboys. He was in negotiations to re-up his contract, and they just were not close. So he gone, and who knows who's going to go for the Cowboys head coaching position. There's still other positions out there. Mike Vrabel was hired. He'll get another chance. I forgot the team he was on. I'll post that later. But there's still a lot of coaching vacancies. The Lions, two offensive and defensive coordinators have been mentioned. Nothing. They turned down a couple interviews, and so probably once the playoffs end or the World Series, the Super Bowl ends, then there'll be more news on that. We'll keep you informed, obviously. Last week's video, by the way, had 18 views. Excuse me. Which is very good, because I think I only have 17 viewers, but that's very. I said last week that we were going to do more, and very pleasantly surprised. I'm very happy about that. We'll try to do the same next week. That was very good. Not a lot to report. I do want to say our hearts and prayers are out for the people in California. Terrible wildfires, and just tragic. A lot of that could have been prevented. With Mother Nature, you can't say it all could have been prevented, but my goodness. In California, I've never been to California, but it's such a beautiful state, and it's just being ruined in a lot of areas, and the Los Angeles and San Francisco and Palisade Park area just been destroyed. 24 lives, I believe, was the latest count. Billions of dollars in structural damage, and it's just, and a lot of that could have prevented. I blame the governor and the mayor of LA for most of that. They ran out of water, and they had tons of reserve water, and just let it go into the ocean, and the reservoirs are dry, and they just totally mismanagement. Not to get too political, but they should resign. They never will, but it's just a disgrace, and it's just terrible. A week from today, Donald Trump will take over and become president again. Thank goodness. I wish it was today, but it's getting there, and we can get this country back on track. But my goodness, the videos and the interviews they were talking, it's just heartbreaking. These people lost everything. Insurance companies canceled a lot of people's policies, and it's terrible. Now, some people and companies have volunteered $1 million here and there, which is fantastic, but it's going to take a lot more than that, and they'll never recover. Some people in businesses, they just won't, and they don't have insurance, and it's just devastating. It's heartbreaking, and because a lot of it could have been prevented, and that's very sad. And I don't like to get too political on Bucky's mail day, of course, right, Sookie? Yeah, Sookie's walking by, but it's just sad because they don't care, and it's just very frustrating. But we'll see what happens. We hope for the best, but man. But the 20th, and when Trump takes over, he'll close the border and we'll get this country back in shape. But it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money, and just a lot of everything. But that's it for the political step stool. There won't stay on there too long. But not too much else in the news. Hawks, they'll win one, lose two or three. They're going absolutely nowhere. So I barely follow them. I don't know, they seem to have a lot of issues going on there. So I just I I follow them from afar, not like back in the day. Um, so it's, except for Bernard, I don't really know that many players. Um, but we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna give up hope. They got me 3 Stanley Cups. I'm not gonna give up on the Hawks. Reds, same thing. They've had a few players here and there, but baseball's like barely on my radar. And even during the regular season, it's barely on my radar. But which is sad because I used to really follow baseball, but it just, football's taken over so much. College wise, the Badgers. I want to make one statement. If I did before, I apologize, but I want to make sure I get this out there. The Badgers were contacted to replace, I can't remember the team now. Doesn't matter. For a bowl game, they turned it down because they hadn't been practicing for a while because they didn't expect to go to a bowl game. There's a lot of transfers, the college transfers. So they barely had a team to focus or to post in the bowl game. So they politely declined. So I can totally understand that. But I want to make sure I put that out here just in case I forgot to do it last night. If I did it again, I apologize. But we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, not too much. They keep in transfers, and which is, they've been very active in that. They've done very well on that. So we'll give them one more year. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm very looking forward to the Notre Dame, the Ohio State game. It should be very exciting. And Ohio State's got a great team, and Notre Dame does too. The higher seeds keep losing all the time. I think Notre Dame was 8, and the Ohio State was 7 or something like that. So, rankings don't really matter as much as you'd think it would. As Suki's walking through my legs. Hi, Suki. There she is. Oh, you missed. Oh, she's giving me kisses. Thank you. Oh, there she goes. Okay. There's Suki. There. Okay. Not too much else to report. It's been very cold here the last couple of days. Yeah, little patches of snow, but not much else going on. So I'm not, too worried about that. But oh, you going again? Okay. So I think that's about it, Bucky. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so for Mike Cena, of course, Star Show, as always, it's Bucky. Say bye, Bucky. Bucky says bye. And next Monday, we'll tell you how the Lions did, and if they won, who their opponent will be, and it's Super Bowl or bust, guys, because we're on our way, and this is our best shot ever, and we'll see what happens. All right, take care, everybody. Bye now.